to find, on top of an insane level of detail, especially when it comes to stuff that tutorials leave out or maybe don't explain super well. So here are 17 things that Red Dead 2 doesn't actually tell you. First up is something that may seem obvious to some, but completely missed by a lot of the rest of us. You can manually save your game by entering the pause screen and opening the story menu. Frustrated that the general clerk won't buy any of your shiny jewelry you have that's definitely not stolen? Never fear. Your friendly neighborhood fence will take care of that for you. You can unlock access to fences after completing a mission with Hosea early on near Emerald Ranch. Fences will also let you craft special trinkets and talismans from the pelts of legendary animals, which will give you unique perks like boosting your score stat experience gains or improving the quality of harvested animal skins. As with any Rockstar game, there are tons of collectibles to find out in the world. What you may not realize, however, is that there's a side quest attached to almost all of them that will provide you with certain rewards for each set of collectibles you complete. A full set of cigarette cards, for example, are worth a lot to the right buyer.
You know what, you have to get a complete set. I can take it off your hands.
And you may not even have to look that hard. You can hunt these collectibles down individually, or you can find them in packs of premium cigarettes, which can be bought or picked up during your travels. You unlock new weapons by finding them out in the world. Try raiding a rival gang's camp or robbing a homestead to find a new addition to your arsenal. Unlike in the last game, equipping a bandana won't entirely hide your identity, and your honor will still take a hit if you kill a bunch of folks with it on. I want all the money you got, right now. Now putting on a bandana during a crime and taking it off afterwards makes the wanted meter drop faster, providing you're out of the search radius. The most obvious honorable versus dishonorable choice won't always be apparent. Killing a rival gang member isn't normally considered dishonorable, but if you antagonize them before killing them, it will be. Kill cams are impacted by your honor. If you play honorably, the camera on a kill replay will focus on Arthur. If you're dishonorable, it'll focus on the kill and represent it in a more intense way. Be careful when searching the saddlebags of someone else's horse, as it might kick you. You can avoid this by calming and patting the horse to gain its trust before you start searching the bags. Fast travel from camp is unlocked by upgrading Dutch's tent and then Arthur's in the ledger. Beyond that, your only option to traverse the map quickly is to pay for a ride on a train or a stagecoach. If you aren't near a train or a coach, though, you can still make long journeys easier. Hold the run button in the cinematic camera while riding to have your horse automatically follow the road or head towards a waypoint. Now they do tell you that, but what they don't tell you is that you don't have to keep holding the button the whole way there. Once you're on your way, you can just put the controller down and enjoy the view. Be good to your horse. Feed it, keep it clean, and most importantly, keep it safe. Unlike the original Red Dead Redemption, your horse won't magically respond if something bad happens to it. Tell it to flee if bullets are about to start flying, avoid jumping off any high cliffs, and be sure to keep a bottle of Horse Reviver on hand, just in case. When you're riding around out in the wilderness, it can be easy to forget the basics of personal hygiene, but that doesn't mean everybody else will. If you walk into town, people will react differently depending on if you're clean, dirty, or whatever the hell happened here. You can clean yourself up by paying for a bath at a local hotel, or on the cheap by going for a dip in the river. When you're out hunting, you can tell the quality of a pelt you can expect to harvest from an animal by studying it and then selecting show info before choosing to bring it down. The food you cook at a campfire gives you the biggest boost to your core stats, but it can't be found on the radial wheel. It's in your satchel. These items aren't meant to be used as quick access consumables in a firefight, rather to prepare for and recover from fights or long journeys. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, cheat codes are back. Keep your eyes peeled while exploring the world for strange phrases that may seem out of place, graffitied in railway tunnels, or etched into frozen lakes. They may be cheat codes. You can enter them by pausing the game and going to the settings menu, then pressing triangle or Y to open the cheats menu, then hitting it again to enter the cheat. And don't worry, you won't have to keep a big list somewhere. The cheat code will be saved for future use. but you'll lose the ability to save your game or unlock trophies or achievements when you activate them.
Y'all be careful where you wander.
Of course, there's a lot more to survival in the Old West than just these few tips, so be sure to mosey on over to our full Red Dead Redemption 2 wiki. Also, make sure to check out our review of the game and the first opening minutes of the campaign. For everything else wild and western, you're already in the right place. IGN.
I'd give anything in the world if that little girl with the red hair would come over and sit with me.
Alrighty guys, today we're going to look at Mr. Northface right here coming up the aisle. Now, he's going to make his way over to these coolers and give that super obvious look up at the counter. Come on now, you only been in here for 5 seconds, you already gave it away. How dumb can you be? Apparently pretty dumb. He's going to look more than once and make it super duper obvious. Now, he's going to grab an orange juice right here. Look one more time. Wait a minute, did I say one more time? Or 2 more times? Oh, snap. Now, he's going to slide the orange juice in his pocket right there. Super obvious. Super obvious. Now, he's going to come over here into the middle aisle. He's going to play the waiting game because, you know, you can't escape until the cashier is totally occupied, and all thieves know that. Come on now, it's common thievery right there. So he's gonna sit there, he's gonna keep looking up at the counter, totally not obvious, totally. So he's gonna try and stroll out the door right here. Man, you gotta pay for what you stole. Get over here now. Take it out of your hoodie and get over here now. Take it out of your hoodie. What are you doing? Give it to me. No, give it to me now. You're not about to shake this fuck out. Don't ever come back in here. It's so funny, I just got caught stealing. I'm just gonna laugh my whole way out the door. You know what's funny is you no longer have a delicious, refreshing orange juice to drink. Shigo!
Whoa. Oh my god. You ain't been doing like that, bro. God. Fucking Tobias. Why am I on Tobias, bro? I need to be on that nigga Hamlin. That's probably who I was on last time. I might have just straight up. Oh, this nigga. I know I can burn this nigga. They finally done fucked up. He done gooped. Yo. Fuck up now. Get out of here, boy.
Hype culture is a necessary evil, no matter what creative medium you look at. It's torn apart games like Mass Effect Andromeda. It's utterly transformed games like Destiny. It's conferred a revered status to titles like The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Despite all the dangers and fallacies associated with hype, it's necessary to sell more copies, fund bigger ventures, and repeat the cycle endlessly. Very few games are a stranger to hype culture, but some titles like Red Dead Redemption 2 are interesting anomalies to it. How though? Well, Red Dead Redemption 2 has been in development since 2010. A 2,000-page script, hundreds of voice actors, hundreds of thousands of animations, a massive world teeming with side content. If anything, the buzz around Red Dead Redemption 2 is a perfect example of hype. It's what leads to premature discussions about Game of the Year. Non-sequitur discussions on whether it will be the highest reviewed game of the generation, not unlike Rockstar's own Grand Theft Auto 5. Before Rockstar's last magnum opus release, I said that ultimately it didn't matter what reviews said about the game. All faults would fade away in the honeymoon light, and serious introspection would probably follow about the game years later. At that point in time, though, the game would be everything that its fans could ever want. When talking about the highest rated of this generation, there's something to be said about Red Dead Redemption 2 releasing at this stage. The PS4 and Xbox One have been out for roughly 5 years now, billed as outdated at launch and wowing everyone with the visuals since achieved. Red Dead Redemption 2 is Rockstar's first game built from the ground up for the hardware. It could end up being the biggest, best open-world title that this generation, or the limits of its hardware, are capable of delivering. A benchmark, if you will, for what future generations could achieve, much like Grand Theft Auto 5. In that respect, it could be an exemplary title for this generation and one that stands above the rest. That's not the greatest challenge facing Red Dead Redemption 2, though. It probably will be the highest rated game of this generation, toppling the likes of God of War, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Bloodborne. It will most likely sell tens of millions of units before 2018 has even ended. It will be discussed much more in the coming days, and thanks to Red Dead Online, it will also remain relevant for the generation to come, much like Grand Theft Auto Online has remained relevant till now. Is it a bad thing when an excellent experience is earmarked as the best by any crowd of people, much less game reviewers? Well, no. Quality may vary from person to person, and fun will always be subjective. The real challenge facing Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't how it caters to hype culture while defying it, releasing on its own terms without a damn for the competition. It's in how we ultimately perceive and appreciate the artists, programmers, writers, voice actors, designers, interns, producers, QA testers, and so on behind it. When CD Projekt Red was revealed to have put its employees through the ringer for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, some felt that this was a necessary sacrifice for the sake of a masterpiece. Regardless of how you feel about Rockstar games, whether it's actually working its employees to the bone or not, there's something to be said about the effort that went into Red Dead Redemption 2. Each speck of dust, each painstakingly rendered wrinkle, and each muzzle flash from every carefully carved gun, held together by almost countless systems working in tandem, is the collective result of a studio's blood, sweat, and tears. Of weeks that could have been spent with families, of ailing health, missed anniversaries, ruined relationships, and sleepless nights punctuating stressful weeks on top of lonely years. Regardless of what the Metacritic scores say, keep a different number in mind. Keep in mind the sacrifices that this development team, along with several others, had to make to bring this vision to life. Even if it's for the sake of revenue, appreciate the vision that these people were trying to present. Accept that some things are imperfect or could have been better, and have fun. Ratings can carry some fairly strong consequences for developers. Whether they tell you this is the finest game ever created so far, a great game that could use some polish, or an okay game whose reach exceeded its grasp, the score can often feel secondary to the views expressed. If reviews are to be the standard bearer for quality in this season of hype, so be it. However, never forget that some things can be rated or attributed to simple numbers, no matter how much the concepts of graphics, music, story, and gameplay are quantified. Anyone can tell you how gorgeous Red Dead Redemption 2 looks, but no one can properly explain what you'll feel when crossing the snow-covered mountains alone, with your horse by your side. I could tell you the soundtrack has been in development since 2013, but that's not going to dictate how you should feel when sitting and listening to the tunes of a saloon piano. Everyone could praise the size and the amount of content, but no one can really explain how you should perceive all the little things coalescing into this big picture. Some things simply have to be witnessed firsthand. So, whether you're reading a review before spending money, watching hours of streams, or simply waiting for your own copy, remember that Red Dead Redemption 2 is a phenomenon. It's a phenomenon for the uncanny effort put in by the developers, and not just from the inordinate amounts of hype it generated before launch, or the position it may occupy above the competition. New consoles will come and go, and another game will become the next phenomenon, but ultimately, Red Dead Redemption 2 will be defined by the emotions it inspired, both from its players and its development team. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from Gaming Bolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.
If you two don't mind, I'm going to bed. Before either of you come up with another clever idea to get us killed, or worse, expelled. She needs to sort out her problems.
As the first new project from Rockstar Games this generation, it feels like a lot is riding on Red Dead Redemption 2. The prequel is predictably loaded with the gameplay improvements and unexpected oddities that make other Rockstar open worlds so attractive. But now the whole system is designed to give you more choices and make you feel more connected, no matter how you decide to spend your time. The effect it achieves is remarkable.
So we getting out of this hellhole?
You control outlaw Arthur Morgan, an elite member of the Dutch Vanderlyn gang. You start in the snow-packed mountains after barely surviving a botched robbery. Dutch and family take shelter from the harsh weather while plotting to regain their fortune and seek revenge on their enemies. As you make more money and cause more trouble, the gang is forced to keep moving to new safe spots and to find new towns to rob. Unlike the bounty-focused revenge crusade in Red Dead Redemption, Arthur's story is more about secrecy and survival. Most missions are done to fill your pockets with cash and grow the gang. While you won't learn much about Arthur's past beyond a few news clippings, photographs, and casual conversations, the personalities that surround you keep the story approachable and grounded. Newcomers to Red Dead should have no problem following along, but there are lots of gratifying moments for series fans. The central campaign lasts for dozens of hours, excluding the many bonus threads you'll pick up while traveling. It concludes with an epilogue that vastly exceeds expectations. The missions team you up with individual gang members right away, and they keep giving you chances to understand each person's perspective, whether it's a black man confronting racism or a Native American watching the government betray his people. You're given a lot of choice, and certain objectives can be skipped if you're not in the mood. Conversations evolve depending on the order you complete quests, and prior events are often referenced by the people you work with. Outside of these jobs, you can catch up with your associates back at camp.
Well, I don't know where the hell we are, but we are going to make the best of it.
Your movable hideout functions as a conduit for each chapter's events. You can chat with friends to pass the time and upgrade the camp visually with perfectly harvested animal skins. You can add or improve the available supply storage, and other members will donate money to the cause when they can. With hours of animation and dialogue to set each scene, the camp is impressively realized, and it's delightful to pause your progress, slowly sip a cup of coffee on a cold morning, or sit and listen to a guitar by the campfire after a rough day. Details like this that give the world life are everywhere, a million little moments just waiting to surprise you. You can provoke your surroundings by targeting people, animals, or objects with the left trigger. Your choices shift depending on the context, so you use the same lock-on method to brush your horse, rob a store, or talk to strangers. Whether you chat with every person or not, it feels good to know the option is there. Gang members will only have 1 or 2 line replies at any given time, but even that adds a tremendous amount of character to the proceedings. As you pillage the land, your honor will be questioned. Good and bad deeds affect what you see as events unfold, whether they're part of the story or just the way you treat people. We chose the righteous path and definitely felt Arthur struggle with his beliefs as seeds of doubt and distrust grew in the gang. You'll see the world react to your deeds, as certain items may cost less, or jobs might pay more. Your honor level affects the decisions you're given, the side missions you discover, and the finale you get when the long road finally ends.
Hands above your head.
Okay, Mr. Ed.
Get the hell away from me. Gonna be dead soon, partner.
These parts aren't the only ways the game forces immersion on the player. There are numerous restrictions that can be a bit cumbersome, but also tie you closer to the world and make you respect the tools you're given. You have to eat and drink to restore how fast you regenerate health and stamina. Weapons require maintenance, which you can perform manually, or you can pay the gun clerk to service them for you. You have to dress for hot or cold weather, or your stamina will be adversely affected. Your horse can only carry a small amount of animals or skins. Plus, you have to figure out which weapons you need to take with you, since you can only shoulder 2 weapons when you're off your horse, aside from your holstered pistols. Horses require attention as well, since they also have depleting health and stamina. It takes a while to bond with a horse, which will increase its stats and allow you to perform tricks or call it from greater distances. You can brush it, feed it, or pat it to lighten its mood, and agitated horses might be 1 gunshot or animal attack away from throwing you from the saddle. Missions will give you a horse when you need one, but otherwise, you need to keep tabs on your trusty steed. If it's too far away, you have to track it down or get back to a stable or camp to spawn it. These commitments might seem extreme, but they serve a greater purpose. Red Dead Redemption 2 has a very slow and deliberate pace that makes sense considering the setting and story. Comforting a stressed animal, tying rabbits or turkeys to the side of your saddle, or carefully choosing your customized arsenal before a firefight brings you closer to the lifestyle of the era, and Arthur himself. These actions help you build personal attachments to everything, and the small doses of reality never slow things down too much or spoil the experience. Fast travel also has its limits. You can take trains and stagecoaches to towns you've discovered, and you can purchase the ability to skip to a location directly from your bedside, but you can no longer zip to somewhere from a campfire on the open road. Campfires instead now allow you to craft special types of ammunition and cook meat you find while hunting. The extra riding required to get everywhere leads to some of the game's most rewarding and spontaneous moments. Animal parts you collect from hunting can be used to upgrade your inventory space, create stat-boosting trinkets, feed the gang, or net you extra cash. Strangers and other random events pop up constantly. These might open up new types of items to go searching for, give you a chance to adjust your honor meter, or alert you to other means of making money. You're free to help, rob, loot, kill, or ignore these people as you see fit. Different gangs also occupy each area. They'll hassle you or the locals and set up traps for you to spring on the trail. Deadeye returns to help you pick off targets in slow motion, but now there's also Eagle Eye for gathering plants, searching for clues, and tracking beasts. All the info you acquire is stored in a compendium, and certain memories are preserved in Arthur's journal. It's satisfying to fill in each part of the map and discover new towns, but things are still happening in places you've already visited, and surprises keep popping up even after the end credits roll. If you need a break from the outlaw life, you can play an assortment of cards, dice games, see a live show or movie, or bring in a bounty and partake in that set of unique stories and colorful characters. This world is alive with people to meet and animals to find, and your methods of interacting with them are impressive. But the game's visuals transport you to another time and place more than anything else. The customization options with your weapons, clothing, and horses are of the highest quality, and they're easy to obsess over. Hair takes time to adjust as you have to grow it before you can cut it. The lighting has clearly received special attention, particularly when rays from the sun cut through foggy forests, rain dumps down, and lightning crackles in the distance. Likewise, towns become illuminated with a soft glow against the heavy darkness of night. Fire appears to completely consume certain objects when lit. Wood splinters as you use boxes or posts for cover in gunfights, and new buildings are constructed as the story goes on. Navigating the map is one wow moment after another, and just when you start to get used to how beautiful the game is, it hits you again with another stunning view. Even little animations like when Arthur puts his rifle over his shoulder or tucks it into the saddle give all the elements a satisfying weight and relevance. A first-person view lets you play from a different perspective, and while we didn't switch to it that often, it is amusing to keep a close eye on people while each scene plays out.
Here's to your good health, sir.
Red Dead Redemption 2 tests the boundaries of interactive immersion. Few games look this good, play this well, and have this much to offer. It begs you to slow down, turn every page of its dramatic tale, and savor every last breathtaking detail. It challenges you to be prepared for anything and make the right decisions when your choices matter most. Arthur Morgan is the lead, but the world takes center stage to pull you in. With a list of challenges left to finish and an online mode launching soon, we plan to spend a lot more time in Rockstar's unparalleled recreation of the Old West.